Allora direi di ricominciare una nuova partita.
Once upon a time, the infamous rover Reynardo plundered the floating isles. Then his mother called him to her deathbed. "Swear to me that you won't die on the gallows," she rasped. Reluctantly, he swore. And he whiled away his days at home with music, cards, and wine. But the Emperor had changed. He'd been good once, a shy, almost humble toad. He'd built universities. Then people started whispering about mass graves in the woods, midnight rituals, victims screaming. The Imperial Ravens would round up entire villages, and no one ever returned. The Ravens had come to Ubar scouting for ancient books said to be of great power. But the librarians had hidden the books, so they'd burnt the librarians. The citizens, outraged, had driven them off. The Ravens had come back with dropships. The kid had fled with one of those books. He was brave and dumb and wanted to join the rebellion. And Reynardo had promised his mother he'd protect him.
Ok, questa è l'intro.
The kid was looking down, watching his city burn. "Sorry, kid," Reynardo told the kid. "Look, if we give them the book, they'll leave you alone." "My mother died for this book!" "I promised her I'd protect you." Oh, damn it. The kid had run off. With the book, of course. So Reynardo had to run after him.
Ok, adesso gli corriamo dietro.
The two ravens were staring at the kid like he was their dinner, which probably was what was in their tiny brains. "Hey," Reynardo said. They cocked their heads at him. "Pick on someone as ugly as you." Wait, that didn't come out right. "For the Emperor!" The ravens cawed and rushed at him.
Ovviamente quadrato per attaccare, comandi easy. Il nemico sta per attaccare. Ok. Ok, bisogna stare a tempo con gli attacchi dei corvi. E ci siamo. Vediamo se riusciamo ad ottenere un po' di vita in giro. No, sarebbe bello.
A dropship flew overhead. He hoped they hadn't noticed him. The kid.
Ok. Mira e lancia. Si possono anche lanciare i nemici. Vediamo un po'. Oh. Perfetto. Niente. Mi è premuto per afferrare e poi per lanciarli. Perfetto.
Oh, right. The Gate of Heroes. Someone's idea of a joke, making the Skyship docks a gated community. You needed a hero's sword to open it. And the kid was on the other side of the gate. Who let you through?
Ce lo chiediamo
Take the
tutti.
book to the rebels. Or I'm gonna steal your ship. I'm not taking that damn book anywhere. And neither are you. Try and stop me, laughed the kid. I bet you don't even have a hero sword. And with that, the kid hopped away.
Boh.
Had to hand it to the kid. He was an idiot, but he had guts. Where was Reynardo going to get a hero sword?
Questa non va bene, perché bisognerà avere più spade per poter accedere ai portali. Piccolo spoiler. E ovviamente li dovremo creare.
Wind essence?
Ok,
That
tanto.
sounds about right. I'll need a
Qua
workshop though.
non c'erano dei vasi, delle anfore, qualcosa, no?
Perfect.
Spada. Per migliorare.
Hero
Ok.
sword. QED.
E queste sono tutte le spade che potremo crearci. Allora. Proseguiamo. Ovviamente adesso
This is what he got for settling down and finding
Di
people
qua.
to care about. The kid's mum had been a swell cook and she'd laughed at Reynardo's jokes, even when he didn't know he'd made one. And then the ravens had come to burn her. And she'd made him promise to protect the kid. But she never told him where the book was. Just the kid.
un attimo solo. Perfetto. Allora, c'è soltanto una strada.
He came up to a ledge. It was too far to jump. There'd been a bridge here before, hadn't there? And there was Peter, giggling at him. How'd you get across? He asked the kid. Where'd you find a hook? I hopped.
Ha fatto un
Said the
salto,
kid.
il coniglio salta.
White ass kid. Hey, look out behind you.
Eh,
Cute, said Reynardo. Ah, ravens.
ok,
It was time to talk some sense into the kid. Just hook his way across the
Perfetto.
ledge and chase the kid down. Thing was, he hadn't used his hook since he'd retired. How had he done it? Maybe if he meditated at that altar there, he'd remember his old skills.
così possiamo iniziare a salire di livello. Informazioni sulle varie abilità e punteggi.
It was starting
Ovviamente.
to come back to him. Something
I
you
pali
never
possono
completely
essere
forgot.
agganciati.
Like
Ciao,
how to freeze
Kiroda,
time
sei
when
là.
attacking.
Buonasera, un saluto
The more
veloce
he
prima di
fought,
andare al
the
lavoro.
more
Buona
he'd
live, buon
probably
divertimento. Stasera è un gioco rilassante? Eh sì. Stasera Stories, praticamente uno dei miei primi videogiochi per PS4, quando la comprai qualche anno fa. Quindi mi piace anche per quello giocare a questo videogioco. Ok, devo usare triangolo per agganciarmi.
And there was the Farfarer. She was the
La
fastest ship
viaggiatrice.
he'd ever known. She could do the Kessel Run in 12 furlongs. Oh, so the salesman had told him. And something told him the kid was about to walk into an ambush.
Li ricordo.
Stop! He shouted. I'm not giving you the book! Shouted the kid, and took off. No! Peter! But the kid ran for it.
Quello lì
And the
esplode.
gun nailed him with its eye.
Ragazzi. Così. E così. Se aspettava un secondo, non avrebbe fatto la fine
The book
del
was unburned. Next to
coniglio
it were the
arrosto.
buckles from the kid's shoes and a kid-sized pile of ashes. Damn it. Why hadn't he lied and told the kid he'd take the book to the rebels? The kid would be alive now. Really pissed off and betrayed, but alive. Oh, damn it. Reynardo picked up the book. He couldn't let the Empire have it now. He was going to have to get it out of there. He'd be a wanted man. probably have to join the rebellion just to have a place to dock.
E quindi l'unica scelta è salvare. Però prima, non prima di aver ottenuto tutto l'ottenibile. Ok. Più che altro volevo i pezzi di materiale.
Deal about this book anyway. Maybe he should open it and find out.
È il momento di leggere un buon libro.
All that had been years ago. How many? The war was a blur, and now 3 Raven scout ships were chasing him. Where are you running, rebel? Cawed the Raven captain over the loud hailer. Reynardo could see them cranking up their catapults. Just going out for milk? Reynardo yelled back. Where can you run? Laughed the Raven horribly. Far behind him, another city was burning. The dark cloud above its island was thousands of Imperial ships. The fleet was doing a thorough job. Take us to the rebel base! I will spare your life! It cawed. The entire jury-rigged rebel fleet was only a few islands to the east. Beyond that were only the pillars of heaven. A sea of endless blood-colored tornadoes. The rebellion was out of time. Unless Reynardo could bring a game changer. Maybe he could.
Allora,
Reynardo had found out where he could find the pieces of the sky.
questo è un videogioco a scelta. Scegliendo le varie strade, e cercherò di raggiungere il finale il più velocemente possibile.
As he felt the heat of the jet stream, the Raven ships peeled off, not stable enough to follow him down there. Now it was time to choose.
E se non erro, la scelta era questa. Con l'apino. Che vedremo come andrà a finire, comunque sia, con l'apino.
Ah, l'apino. Apparently the mad rabbit had sold a Pegasus that he did not exactly own. Lapino always wiggled out of trouble given time, but he was out of time. The Ravens had figured out that Lapino was a rebel spy. If the fleet reached him first, they'd string him up for that. Never mind the winged horse.
Però con l'apino sbloccheremo altre vie.
Lapino had apparently managed to confuse the judge by arguing that he hadn't actually stolen a winged horse. He'd only sold it. But wait, where was the prison? The village was empty. Had everybody fled the Ravens?
Abbastanza materiale. Più che livellarle le armi, adesso è meglio ottenerle. Quindi credo che farò così. Tanto di piattaforme moventi. Il villaggio, l'ambientazione è favolosa. Estremamente rilassante e bello da giocare.
The Ravens had taken the town. Reynardo had seen villages emptied like this, all the people taken away to be sacrificed in the Emperor's secret rituals. Reynardo hoped the people were just hiding.
Ok.
Reynardo's blood was up. He just needed to smash something.
Infatti qua avremo già un'altra porta. Ok. Ho un altare. E lì una porta. Per prima cosa guarderei se da queste parti... No. ricordavo male. Ok.
If he ever had a castle, he was going to hide his stuff better.
E qui apriamo. Corvi, corvi, sempre più corvi. Ok. Avanziamo. Ok. Oh, ce n'era ancora uno.
Ravens were landing everywhere.
Ok.
The advance guard. He'd better get moving. If they got to Lupino first, they'd eat him for breakfast. Or a snack. Ravens weren't picky. If they got hungry, they sometimes forgot to interrogate their prisoners. Even top spies like Lupino. Where had the mad rabbit got to?
Non ci sono materiali, ho bisogno di materiali per le spade. Allora, direi di passare di qua e di qui. Ma nei barili di solito c'è o cibo che di vita. Allora, lo scatto, molto utile.
Starting to come back to him. Something you never completely forgot.
Ok, lo scatto consuma la resistenza.
The more he fought, the more he'd probably remember.
Accidenti. Ok. Stavano un po' massacrando. Non posso più avanzare di qua. Ok. Niente. Avanziamo allora. Mi ricordo. La speranza di trovare qualche mela in più. Soltanto una. Ok. Questi corvi. Ok. Level up. Perfetto. Allora, attacca subito quando il precedente attacco è una combo perfetta. Ok. Cerchiamo di sbloccare abbastanza abilità. Ok. Vediamo allora di recuperare un po' di vita. Ok.
Dirty and bloody, Reynardo
Chissà
finally reached Lupino.
Che fine
The
faremo
rabbit
con
was
Lapino?
practicing his shuffle. Reynardo recognized the cards. It was Lapino's favorite deck. Oh, I thought you were in danger. I am. The ravens are coming. Oh, the prison thing. Right, yeah, we see this guard owed me 53 ducats, so we made a deal. They're very reasonable people, actually, for weasels. Now, I got a brilliant plan to kidnap Zenobia. We capture Zenobia, we find out what she knows, and that's the whole war right there. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Capture the Emperor's greatest general, who also happened to be a deadly sorcerer and, oh, his only daughter? That would be worth it. On the other hand, he could still get to the core of the Sky Ripper, even if he couldn't get the whole thing. It must have great power.
Allora, io direi di incominciare a conoscere i vari personaggi della storia e quindi di andare a
Zenobia wasn't just the Emperor's daughter, of course.
trovare Zenobia.
She'd been Reynardo's best friend in Sword Fu School. And you're still mad for her. The rabbit reminded him. They'd been close. She'd told him things no one else knew. But she'd never told him who she really was. She knows all the Emperor's plans, chuckled the Master Spy. She won't give them up easily. She'll tell the interrogators, all right, said Lapino. Taking her would change the game, all right.
Ok, andiamo a trovare Zenobia.
The city was already under Zenobia's control. I had to admire her efficiency. Reynardo shivered at the thought of Zenobia at the mercy of the interrogators. Could he really turn her over to them? But this was war.
Un
It wasn't meant to be
forziere.
pretty.
E là in fondo cominciamo a vedere già dei portali. Come gioco è molto intuitivo. Ok. Ma c'è già stata una battaglia qua. Ok.
Oh, what does the fox say? Asked one raven. Another one called back, "Oh, God, dying!" And they both laughed hysterically.
Ok. Ok, per prima cosa. Opala. Poi forziere
There were a lot of
e tanti
shiny,
fantastici
smooth,
materiali.
curved with leather, buckles, and kind of smelled.
Ok, vediamo
You know
di
what?
non
Never
esplodere
mind. Yes, there was also
male.
war and other
Soprattutto di non
useful
farci
stuff.
incenerire male.
Let's focus on that, shall we?
Ok, e vediamo se mi ricordo bene. Ok,
Why don't you guys
no,
fight in groups?
sì,
I
perfetto.
know, because there's no I in team.
Ok, avanziamo senza farci scoprire. Eccolo là in fondo, Lapino.
So, what's this plan of yours? Use me as bait, said Lapino. And he outlined a slightly complicated plan that involved geese, a net, setting the Farfarer a little bit on fire, Lapino dressing as an old blind toad, and Reynardo hiding inside a monstrous watermelon.
Secondo me
What could possibly
Lapino
go wrong?
non ci
thought
sta con la
Reynardo.
testa.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sure you know better, said Lapino.
Niente.
If I craft a sword
Allora,
now,
vediamo che
it's gonna
punto
be
siamo
really
con i
short.
materiali. po' indietro, un po' indietro. Potremmo fare appena possibile, potenziare questa. O pian piano ottenere le prossime. E poi qua ci saranno anche delle gemme per avere delle abilità supplementari. Nel momento non ne abbiamo neanche una. Allora, ok.
He wasn't that good. Yet.
Ok. Perfetto, anche questo livello comunque sia è fatto. Allora,
Reynardo
eccoci qua.
slinked through Zenobia's ship, making no sound at all. Where were her guards? Finally, he
Dove
reached
erano
her
le guardie?
bedroom. She was curled up at her bed. Oh, he'd forgotten how beautiful she was. How sleek. How soft. He tapped her on the shoulder with his sword. She became smoke. And he noticed he had a blade to his throat. Stay a while, purred a familiar voice. Did you really think you could capture me? Zenobia said as the ship lifted off. Now I just wanted some privacy. Reynardo said, did you ever wonder why the Emperor adopted you? And he told her why. His Imperial Majesty wanted to bring the lost gods back. They could make him immortal. But to seal the bargain, he needed a sacrifice. Someone who truly loved him. You're lying. She was furious. You can't prove that. I can. And so, we set sail for the Nexus.
Sì, sì. E adesso la storia si fa interessante.
The scientists at the observatory have resurrected one of his victims. Well, he's not exactly alive, but he can talk, and he can't lie. You took a big risk. You know, I could just cast a spell to make you tell me where the rebel base is. And you wouldn't consider that cheating? She frowned. Ugh, fine. Let's go get your witness.
Ok.
The rebellion had started after atrocities that the Empire hushed up. Reynardo had rescued a priest whose order had been massacred for one book. He had slept in a burnt village. Dead kittens and puppies had come to tell him what the Emperor had done to them. Who needed bridges anyway?
Che belle queste gemme. E arrivano i corvi. Io mi stavo guardando le gemme. Ok. Ok, materiali che ci serviranno.
Smashing things was fun.
Ok. Qua troveremo altri nemici. sempre più potenti. Ok.
Reynardo wondered if he could learn to cook this way. Probably not.
Ecco, queste si possono rompere. Oh. Bellissimo.
She caught up with him. She seemed troubled. All right, out with it, he said. He sent his ravens to search for an ancient crystal. Something called the Iblis stone. Iblis? Isn't he one of the lost gods? He shivered. A stone dedicated to one of the lost gods. Oh, that could give great power. But what would the god demand in return?
Ok. Allora. Adesso dovrebbe essere di qua la strada. Così e niente, devo andare di qua. Arrivati. Non si corre sulle scale.
Scientists on this island had been investigating the Emperor's dark rituals on their own. They were neutral in the civil war engulfing the Empire, but they could see that the dark magics the old toad had loosed were changing the world. Reynardo hoped he and Zenobia weren't putting them in danger.
Ok.
Take a leap of faith, said the inscription.
Ok, non mi ricordavo. Ok, pian pianino. E via.
Can't we just agree to disagree?
Ah, quanti corvi ci sono. E prima bisogna evitare la magia di fuoco degli stregoni, danneggiare chiunque si trovi nell'aria quando esplode. Ok, cominciamo anche a conoscere come nemici gli stregoni. Abbiamo conosciuto i corvi, gli occhi che esplodono e gli stregoni. Ok. Ottimo, ottimo. Adesso quando serve la salute non c'è mai neanche una mela al giorno che toglie il medico di torno. Ok. Ci stiamo addentrando sempre di più. No, una mela. Sembra un po' tutto distrutto. Ciao, Sephiroth. Sera, ben arrivato.
The ravens had taken care to burn the reanimated witness to
Stasera
cinders.
siamo su
Zenobia
Stories,
stared
The
around,
Path of Destinies.
The scientists had been neutral. They had no part in the rebellion. Take me to your council, she said.
Tutto a
shaken.
posto?
I have things to tell them. It was what Reynardo had gambled on. The Zenobia would turn against her father once she knew his madness. But the rebel base was secret. Could
Ci
he
sono
really
giorni che non
risk
apro
taking
Destiny,
the
devo
Emperor's daughter
recuperare.
then?
Sì, bisogna recuperare. Adesso qua cosa potremmo fare? Allora, io direi di far questa via.
Reynardo reached Lapino by far speaker Toad, the one creature the ravens had left alive at the observatory.
Raggiungiamo la Pino, poi vediamo. Forse ho sbagliato qualcosa.
Lapino said through the Toad. Good thinking. Reynardo gave him the coordinates. There's a shuttle here I can borrow. Reynardo found Zenobia in the chart room. I've been having awful dreams, she said. Dead kittens and worse. I thought they were only dreams, you know. Why would anyone want the lost gods back? In those days, the favorite
Ogni tanto
of
ci
a
sta a
god
fare
could
dei
become
giochi
immortal.
tranquilli.
She held herself and shivered. He wants to become an eater of souls. Well, I'm not afraid of dying. Just dying of boredom. Reynardo said, but she didn't laugh. Silence fell as they flew towards the ruins of the city of Ubar, where the rebellion leadership was hiding. If Zenobia couldn't help them fight off her father,
Sì, perché
no
se
one
no
could.
Destiny 2 ti fa uscire di testa. Sì, soprattutto se si va a fare un bel crogiolo in rissa. Quello li fa sbarellare proprio.
As they touched the ground, he could smell the ravens and hear their hungry caws in the distance.
Ti piace l'adrenalina? Sì, ogni tanto un bel crogiolino ci sta.
She had that fiery look in her eyes that he'd always loved. It was a bit odd, though. How easy she'd been to convince. It was what he'd gambled on, but he'd expected more of an argument. She'd always loved to argue. She considered it the fastest way to the truth. Maybe she'd long suspected the truth. Sometimes all it took was taking the bandages from your eyes. That must be it, he told himself.
Ok, vediamo dove queste scelte ci porteranno. Allora, abbiamo un punto abilità. Tempo. Allora, rallenta il tempo. Dopo un contrattacco portano a termine. Ok.
Missed his old skills.
Perfetto, proviamo anche questo. Qua abbiamo un bivio. Può prendere la piattaforma. Può andare di qua, che non so se c'è un'altra piattaforma. O è soltanto una via chiusa e si può ottenere qualche cassa aggiuntiva. No, una cassa. Materiali. Sono sempre comodo.
I could make with all these sword crafting materials, thought Reynardo.
Ok. Quindi raggiungiamo la piattaforma e vediamo dove ci porterà questa volta. Un altro forziere. Ok, appena possibile costruiremo un'altra spada. Allora, eccoci qua. Allora, o aspettiamo per creare questa però direi che abbiamo già 41 di materiali, saremo a 10, non abbiamo ancora tutti i pezzi, quindi miglioriamola.
His trusty old sword was always a little better when he sharpened it.
Ok. Perfetto. Così si guarisce un po'. Allora. Ok, abbiamo visto che si possono anche afferrare i nemici. Dobbiamo portare su di luce il tuo stregone prima o poi, sì. Anche perché non lo uso tanto e bisognerebbe proprio. Però non saprei che cosa equipaggiarci, francamente. Però una sera di queste ci troviamo. Schippo di qui. Ci troviamo e livelliamo un po'. Allora, qua o di qua? Perché di qua non ci possiamo andare. Ok. Siamo già a 24 di materiale. Ottimo. Vediamo dove andiamo. Ahimè, non abbiamo ancora la spada del fuoco. E dobbiamo andare attraverso i portali. Allora, di qua siamo al punto di prima. Ok. Quindi dobbiamo andare giù di qui e incontrare tanti altri nemici. Ok.
They caught their breath under a ruined arch. It's beautiful, she said. This was the library of Ubar,
La
he said.
biblioteca di
Your
Ubar.
father's ravens thought they had an ancient book. She nodded. Was she crying? This was exactly what I wanted, Reynardo thought. To turn her to our cause. So, why do I feel something is terribly wrong? Because nothing ever goes this smoothly, is why.
Che succederà adesso? Oi. Dai. Avanziamo. E cerchiamo di non farci saltare per aria dagli occhi. Ok.
Hey, don't you tell if someone's far away or just really small.
Vediamo un po'. Via. Sto rischiando un po' troppo. Attenderei che si giri l'occhio così da poterlo attaccare di soppiatto. Allora, qui c'è soltanto una via. Sto rischiando un po' tanto, eh. Ok, scappiamo e schippiamo.
Most people still use doorknobs. The long stairs. So he was close to the rebel base. Nothing was on fire. So far, so good.
E qui incominciano a essere un po' più complicatini i nemici, cioè più che altro perché ce ne sono tanti. E ci sono anche gli stregoni. Ok, cerchiamo di sfruttare gli stregoni dalla nostra parte, anche se sono i nemici. Ok, anche perché quel cerchio che creano sul terreno praticamente dopo un po' esplode e distrugge tutto ciò che c'è sul terreno, quindi nemici e me. E non. Ok. Vediamo se riusciamo ad ottenere un po' di vita da qualche cassa. Ed eccoci. Cosa troveremo qua sotto nelle rovine?
The council toads swarmed around Zenobia, shocked she was there, shocked she had changed sides. Then the walls exploded. He heard toads croaking, "Oh, the ravens!" Blackbirds were pouring through holes everywhere. "It's a trap!" cried the council speaker. In the confusion, he saw flashes of magic. Then Zenobia being hustled off by Imperial troops. So,
questa volta
Reynardo ran for
dovremmo
the ship.
riprovare
The Farfarer flew into the clouds, barely losing the
per
Imperial
crearci un
ravens pursuing him.
altro
The
sentiero
rebellion was lost, and he had lost it. There was
della
nothing to do but
storia.
find Zenobia and make her pay for her treachery. His heart ached. He still loved her. But he had trusted her and he had been a fool. She would be back at the fleet.
Questa volta ci siamo
gloating
fidati
with her
troppo di
mad,
Zenobia
bloodthirsty
e
father.
Zenobia poi
For all Reynardo knew, she
ha
was
fatto
helping him
un
bring back the old
voltafaccia.
lost gods back from their exile.
E questa è un finale della storia. Più o meno, cioè finale, è una parte della storia.
Reynardo landed in the middle of the Imperial
Ok,
fleet. The rebels were losing badly. Without leadership, it was a slaughter.
che per adesso
Reynardo felt strangely free.
Zenobia è scappata, quindi adesso vediamo
Trying not to think
cosa
about how he
fare.
loved Zenobia, blinded himself to her treachery. That's what it meant to be a hero. To keep on fighting after the most bitter of betrayals. To
Allora,
never know if you could trust anyone. Cats. What a waste of fur.
ok.
Why would anyone put his slinky collection in a strongbox, thought Reynardo.
Ok, adesso c'è una parte abbastanza complicata perché qui
There's something else.
sono un po' ostici. Soprattutto perché ne respawnano. Quando incominciano così. Ok,
Next time,
a posto.
stay away from the other guy's sword, you know?
Prima pensavo di essere già alla fine, ma invece abbiamo ancora 1 o 2 scenari. 1 o 2 scenari da giocare.
Sometimes, Reynardo really hated inanimate objects.
Ok. Perché il gioco consiste praticamente, c'è a inizio gioco si vede un libro e si capisce da questo libro che per completare il gioco bisogna vivere più percorsi, quindi più destini, appunto. E ogni scelta apre diversi percorsi che ci porteranno a scoprire nuovi, diciamo, nuovi segreti sulla storia del gioco, ecco. Carina come idea, sì. Infatti quando avevo iniziato a giocarci mi era piaciuto tantissimo. L'ho divorato praticamente questo gioco. L'unica pecca che è ripetitivo, perché ovviamente gli scenari bene o male saranno questi. Buonasera, ciao bro! Ciao! Ben arrivato e benvenuto soprattutto.
No skateboarding, the sign said.
Tutto a posto. Allora, prima cosa, ecco, quando dopo ti attaccano in 3 o in 4 è un po' un casino. Ah. Ok. Ok, di qua. Manca poco. Perfetto.
What had happened to Lepido? Had the mad rabbit fled to safety? Or was he forlornly carrying on like the few
Ci
rebels
sparano anche
Reynardo would see
addosso,
here or there?
come se non bastasse.
It didn't matter anymore. All there was slash and spin, parry and lunge, over and
Ok,
over as he
senza del
fought his way
fuoco.
across the fleet. All there was
Come potete vedere, no, c'è il mio faccione, non lo vedete ma lo vedo io. Abbiamo ottenuto 2, adesso non si vedono più, due cubi di fuoco, praticamente, e che ci serviranno per realizzare una spada. La spada di fuoco. No! Ok. Che mira che ho. Allora, io direi di recuperare, avendo potenziato l'arma, un po' di vita. Così prima utilizziamo la vita, rompiamo le ceste per ottenere queste sottospecie di, non so come chiamarle, qua non ci sono, mirtilli blu giganti che ci ridanno l'energia alla spada e riusciamo sempre ad avere un po' più di energia. Ok. Ottimo. In teoria è meglio tenerli un po' gli stregoni, anche se sono nemici sul campo, perché quelle sfere che poi esplodono, c'è quel raggio, quel cerchio che si vede sul terreno, cioè non, come ho detto prima, non colpisce soltanto noi, ma qualsiasi nemico in campo, quindi aiuta anche a smaltire e a sfoltire i nemici. Ovviamente se rompe un po' troppo le palle lo si fa fuori e basta. Ok, qua si vede che si sta arrivando a un boss, si accendono tutte le sfere in terra. Ok, cominciamo a scancherare. Questi hanno lo scudo, ok? E quindi sono cancheri. I fanti scudati bloccheranno i tuoi attacchi. Ragazzi. Afferra e lanciagli addosso un altro fante. E il suo scudo sarà spazzato via. Quindi, quello che ci hanno insegnato a inizio del gioco, cioè afferrare nemico e lanciarlo. Ah. Ecco, dopo a me succedeva così, che invece di afferrarli li uccidevo e quindi il gioco doveva continuare a farmi respawnare nemici. E tipo ero andata avanti così 5 minuti, perché invece di lanciarli li uccidevo e non potevo far cadere lo scudo. Ah, quel nemico lì. Ok.
And suddenly Zenobia was there, advancing a Lapino. So the mad rabbit had survived. Save me, or I'm done for! Screamed Lapino. Zenobia turned, showing her teeth in a smile. You're alive! Reynardo ran towards the witch. Lapino's the one who betrayed you! She shouted. He warned my father! Reynardo sank his sword into the witch before she could fool him again. She stared at him, heartbroken. No! Lapino's the traitor! Then he felt a knife in his back. I'm afraid she's right, said the mad rabbit. Ain't I a stinker? Then the sun went out.
Ebbene sì.
Okay, that was weird.
Però era fondamentale fare questo percorso. E come si può vedere, sotto tutte le tasselle sono tutti le varie possibili finali della storia. Non è necessario farle tutte per completare la storia finale, cioè per essere veri vincitori, però bisogna trovare il percorso corretto. E per farlo bisogna anche giocare determinati percorsi che sbloccheranno altre possibilità, che così, cioè iniziando il gioco, non si potrebbero avere, appunto perché non si avrebbe abbastanza materiali per avere tutte le altre spade. Ok. Continuiamo. Quindi una verità è che Lapino non è così amico. E qui adesso le pagine del libro inizieranno a scorrere all'indietro per ricominciare.
It was time to choose. The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game changer. Pieces of the Sky Ripper had surfaced, or so a scholar in the mountains had told him. Surely the weapon that banished the lost gods could defeat the Emperor. Also, a temple had risen out of empty desert. The Emperor had brought
Come
the Sky
vedete, la
Ripper
prima
pieces up out of
opzione
ancient
era quella
burial
che ci aveva
by
dato
obscene
all'inizio,
rituals.
cioè andare da Zenobia o quella promozione lì. Adesso ci ha dato questa.
Thought Reynardo. And also, his old friend Lapino needed rescuing. Of course.
Questa è quella che abbiamo
Reynardo
appena
had a
fatto.
pretty strong suspicion that Lapino had betrayed the rebellion. But could Reynardo really leave an old friend to the Ravens?
Allora, questa è quella che avevamo appena fatto e abbiamo scoperto il finale. Qui era andare allo squartacieli. Non me la ricordo molto bene, ma oddio. Ho brutti ricordi, quindi non lo so. Tra le due non saprei. Volete scegliere voi? Altrimenti... Beh, un tempio misterioso era sbucato nel deserto. L'imperatore aveva mandato i suoi corvi a cercare la pietra di Iblis. Direi di andare a cercare la pietra. Allora, buttiamoci.
The island was windswept desert. No one went there except ostriches and ostrich hunters. The Iblis stone. It sounded ominous. It sounded powerful. If the Emperor was searching for it, it must be dangerous. And so, Reynardo went ostrich hunting. Every child could sing verses about the Sky Ripper, but ancient codices held hints of other things.
Ok.
A stone that ate souls, a ruby that drank blood, a jewel only a righteous man could give away. Were all these things the Iblis stone?
Qui nei dintorni ci dovevano essere comunque sia delle casse.
Another ancient item that was only resurfacing now.
Ogni tanto faccio un po' di spoiler.
By the Emperor's horrific rituals.
Ok. Abbiamo già abbastanza materiali per la spada di fuoco, quindi direi di andarla ad ottenere subito.
A crafting bench. Reynardo wondered what he could make with it.
Eccola. Allora, con R2 diamo fuoco al nemico. Dopo, ovviamente, inoltre do fuoco a tutti i nemici che ha intorno nel secondo livello. Ci serviranno 6 cubi di fuoco. Al momento abbiamo ottenuto la spada. Bello comunque sia graficamente, è semplice, estremamente bello.
The steps were too tall for a person. The entire place felt restless, like it had been vexed to nightmare under the dust, waiting for its hour to come around at last.
Ok. Ok. L'energia però si consuma molto alla svelta.
Cawing in frustration, they were still searching for a way in. Good. Then he hadn't come too late. If they didn't want their things broken, they really ought to make them stronger.
Allora, lanciare gli scudi. Ok.
This was way better than being able to shrink down to the size of an ant. What was that all about anyway?
E ok. E intanto abbiamo usato i punti esperienza. Ok. Perfetto. Devo attaccare, ok, ce l'abbiamo fatta. quasi. Perfetto.
Already Reynardo knew more than he
Qui
ever
si è
had.
buggata una scheggia.
But about what?
Ok. Speriamo che ci diano un po' di energia. Perfetto. Anche perché sarebbe stato meglio se gli oggetti da ottenere ti seguissero mentre ti muovi, invece di essere fissi, ma va bene lo stesso. Allora, proseguiamo di qua perché non abbiamo la spada. Proseguire di lì o proseguire di qua? Ok.
He wished there were more pylons he could use the hook on. They really needed to construct additional
È uguale.
pylons.
E abbiamo la spada adatta. Oh. Abbiamo trovato una gemma. Ho sbagliato. Allora, abbiamo trovato una gemma, quindi si va al banco per metterci una gemma. Aumenta la resistenza agli incantesimi del 20%. Ovviamente poi ogni gemma darà delle sue abilità. Ed equipaggiarle nel momento opportuno darà la possibilità di avere dei potenziamenti notevoli nel gioco. Allora,
As for the gate, well, he could take her or leave her. So, it's best I could do.
ok. Qua non possiamo al momento accedere. Ok. Allora, direi 1 di 3. Ah. Ok, non volevo esattamente far questo, ma va benissimo lo stesso. Ah. Male, male.
What kind of raven can't fly? Thought Reynardo.
Ok. Perfetto. Poi
The
cerchiamo
ravens
di
at least
ottenere un
could
po' di
not get
vita.
past this point. Obviously, the temple builders knew how to deal with tomb raiders.
E soprattutto materiale. La vita è fatta a scale. In questo caso scendiamo.
This would be the perfect place for a tic-tac-toe board.
Ok. Questo serve per proteggerci. Almeno siamo sicuri di non perdere vita. E qui altri nemici, ovviamente. Quasi,
It
forse.
was a stone of the purest blackness. It reflected no light, like a void made solid. Nervous, he picked it up. Who said that? It was the stone. Eager, thirsty.
Ok.
That seemed tempting and terribly wrong. Zenobia was the Emperor's greatest general and a potent witch. But they had been close once.
Quindi.
And Reynardo wasn't sure he really wanted to be Emperor. Why not capture the core of Skyripper instead? It was the eye of a
Qua
lost
direi
god
di seguire
torn out
un
by the
po' quello che
transcendent
dice il
Emperor to
gioco,
power
adesso
his
perché
greatest weapon.
attaccare Zenobia,
Said the stone
soprattutto
anxiously.
perché il nucleo non lo vorrebbe. Direi che adesso Zenobia l'abbiamo conosciuta.
The stone bothered him.
Di andare a cercare la
He hated being
pietra.
told what to do. Wasn't that why he joined the rebellion? Wasn't that why he'd refused to be a soldier? He'd agreed to come on board only if he could freelance. The stone felt a bit clingy. The sage Calaveras had told him where to find the Skyripper, a weapon capable of challenging the gods. Even without its armature, the core would still possess great power. He would go there. The moment he landed the Farfarer, Reynardo had a rare feeling of regret. It's not too late, he thought.
Ok.
He would turn around and sail for Zenobia's island. He frowned. Wait a minute. He didn't
Dovevano
want to
esserci
kill
dei
Zenobia, did he?
forzieri qua,
Sure, technically she was the enemy, but they'd been at sword full
da
school
qualche
together.
parte di qua.
They'd never
Non
been
mi
lovers, but
ricordo.
somehow they'd been
Eccolo.
closer. She'd told him every secret about herself, except the biggest one, that she was the Emperor's daughter. No, kill Zenobia, whispered the stone, before it's too late.
Ok. Ok. Altro materiale, e siamo già a 56, anche se non si vede. Saltiamo giù. Oppala. Opla. Ma che bello è saltare giù nel pozzo. E ottenere un po' di
In
materiali.
this chest, there were woodcuts of amazingly beautiful vixens wearing no clothes at all, and something more useful. There was something sour in the air, like the earth had ruptured over something that had been fermenting for a very long time.
Ok, cerchiamo di ottenere tutti i vari forzieri della zona. Ovviamente più si trovano tutti i forzieri dell'area mentre si gioca, e comunque se bisognerà rigiocare più volte varie aree della mappa o rigiocarle, comunque sia riscoprirle, e quindi facendo così, ottenendo comunque sia anche gli stessi forzieri ma più volte, si riuscirà ad avere più in fretta i materiali.
Where did that go to?
Sembra una banalità, però quando a una certa uno vuole skippare dei punti, se non è abbastanza livellato, cioè, ci smena, ecco.
The stone hadn't lied about what it could do for him. With each raven he cut down, he felt a jolt of power flowing into his arm. You freak, whispered the stone.
Il nucleo ti ucciderà.
Are you afraid of it? Don't be ridiculous.
È una pietra, però non è scema la pietra.
Reynardo did not trust rocks that talked in his head. He went onwards.
Ok. Che succederà? Sarà troppo forte il nucleo?
The stone became hysterical. He had a sudden vision of plunging his gauntlet into the core and dying in anguish. That wasn't his vision, was it? The stone had sent him its darkest fears, hadn't it? He had a sudden impulse to do exactly that. He raised his right fist and plunged it into the core. There was a rush of light. He thought he could hear the stone screaming. And then he passed out. When Reynardo came to, the core was gone. But the Iblis stone was no longer black, but glowing with a blue light. And it was silent. I can't hear you, he sang out, and yoo-hoo! It didn't answer. Ha, he said. He had defeated the demonic gem with the power of his mind. He felt invincible. It was time to attack the Imperial outpost on the Nexus. Take the battle to the enemy. But among the huge crystals, there was also an observatory. A wise man would probably ask the scientists exactly what he had first. How wise was he?
Allora, adesso, che scelta fare? Non fa mai male chiedere consigli, li puoi sempre ignorare. Allora, oppure attacca il nemico. Reynardo fa in grado di far tacere la pietra di Iblis usando il nucleo dello sguardacieli, cioè nonostante il potere che gli dava rimase intatto. Forse è meglio accertarsi del potere ottenuto.
Reynardo could see tiny sparks in the blackness that was the Iblis stone, as if somewhere within it the core was still spitting out energy, which the Iblis stone sucked in hungrily. You'd think the stone would want this kind of power, wouldn't it? Thought Reynardo. Well, the scientists would explain it all.
E rieccoci nei cristalli, nella grotta di cristalli.
See? He'd trusted his gut, and it had worked out. That's what it meant to be a hero. To ignore the naysayers and the odd-makers, and do what you knew was right, and have it turn out to be the right thing. Well, he wasn't worried. Once he got to the observatory, the scientist toads could explain it. Then he could carry the war into the enemy's camp and destroy them all. Oh dear, he was getting a little bloodthirsty, wasn't he?
Ok. Mm.
That was always a rush.
Otteniamo ancora un po' di materiali. Dove andare qua? Sono persa, mi sono persa, vediamo. Mhm. Di qua ci eravamo già andati. Eccoci. Di qua c'era ancora qualcosa, no? Di qui no.
He was practically sure he'd find something useful in one of these things.
Di lì non si può andare. Di qua nemmeno. Quella ci riporta indietro e qui le scale le stavamo già facendo. Quindi mi sto perdendo un punto importante. Eccolo qua. Ok. Ne manca uno, eh? Energia. Da qua. Dove bisognerebbe andare? Ok.
Reynardo had never felt better in his life. Normally, a battle would wear him down and he would need a night's sleep. Now he felt like he could go all night and all day. He felt like people were cheering him on and he could practically hear their applause as he slew one raven after another.
Le scale.
The
Il
Iblis
nostro
stone
più grande
and the
nemico, le
sky
scale.
two artifacts from the time of legends. Reynardo was becoming a legendary hero, wasn't he? He had enough power to save the rebellion.
Ok.
But he had to understand this power, so he
Allora,
would not misuse
direi
it.
subito di crearci
This sword from the frigid north was really useful for making popsicles.
un'arma del ghiaccio. Bella. Carina. Molto belle. Wow.
was an inscription. No spitting.
E così abbiamo già ottenuto 2 spade rispetto all'inizio del gioco. Che in teoria potremmo anche non alzare queste leve, ma danno un po' più di protezione eventualmente. Ok. Allora, fai attenzione ai corvi esplosivi. Quando sono colpiti o lanciati esplodono dopo pochi secondi. Usali a tuo vantaggio. Ok, ce ne sono 2 esplosivi. Ok, ancora un piccolo sforzo.
Danced around the room yelling, oh yeah, that's how we do it. It was something he liked to do, but only after he'd killed all the witnesses.
Ok. Avanziamo senza indugio. Questo suono di temporale in lontananza che rilassa. Ok.
The toads at the observatory measured the stone with their occult devices. I fed it the core of Sky Ripper, explained Reynardo. No more feed blood and souls. But the core is not an unlimited energy source, said one toad. Another said, there's a feedback loop, you see, which could overload the stone. If the stone doesn't actually feed on souls, claimed the third, but on pain of killing another sentient being. If you can truly be at peace with yourself, it would not overload.
This was all very confusing. At peace? Yes, the mountains were peaceful and quiet, but he now had the power to turn the tides. He should report to the Rebellion Council and prepare for the decisive battle.
Le montagne.
The one thing he understood from all the toad arguments,
Potrebbero essere
maybe
la
the
scelta.
stone did not feed on blood or souls or rage. It fed on empathy. It fed on the pain he felt when he put an end to another being's existence. Even if that other being was a raven intent on killing him. If he could find peace, then he could use the power of the Iblis stone without being taken over by its evil. The mountains. He would go to the mountains. He could find peace there.
La pace. Ma la propria pace è ciò che conta?
Unfortunately, the mountains were not empty. There were ravens everywhere. No matter. He had to fight, yes, but he didn't have to be angry. Parry, dodge, slash, and breathe. Yes, focus on the rhythm, the dance of it, not on the blood or the raven's core as they died. Ah, it was working. He wasn't feeling those dark jolts of eldritch energy. He wasn't feeding the Iblis stone.
così stiamo scoprendo sempre più cose sulla storia. Possiamo anche andare di qua adesso.
Hero sword. Ice wall. Ice cube.
Ok. Quindi abbiamo ottenuto un'arma potente, diciamo, in questa parte di storia. Vediamo se riusciremo a usarla o se si rivolterà contro di noi.
The platform used a hybrid propulsion system fueled by anti-gravity and wishful thinking.
Ok. Perfetto.
The stone was still silent.
Spostiamoci
His
ancora con le
mind was his
piattaforme.
own, and his heart too. He bore them no ill will, these ravens. They were doing their job. They were expressing their nature. Dance, whirl, parry, jab, and breathe.
E uno dei trofei che si possono ottenere almeno su PS4, perché l'ho già preso su PS4, è ruotare. Così io ovviamente l'ho già ottenuto, basta ruotare intorno.
The sage would help him figure it all out.
Allora, c'era qualcosa qua nei dintorni, se non mi sbaglio, ma forse mi sbaglio.
What were these poles exactly?
No, di quel
Parking
ghiaccio.
meters from the time of the lost gods?
Non posso aprire quella, quel portale, quella porta, quindi proseguiamo di qua. Ok. C'è qualcosa che... No, allora, così, che va a colpire. Perfetto.
Give me a lever, said Archimedes, and I shall open a gate. The
Così facendo si può passare.
Had given Reynardo enough power to challenge the Imperial fleet. But what Reynardo was seeking was
Saliamo
inner.
velocemente le
The
scale,
rebellion was on the verge of extinction.
senza laggare possibilmente. Eccoci qua. Allora, velocità, correre più velocemente, resistenza, aumentiamo la salute.
At the end of the mountain
qua.
path, he found the wise Calaveras in his workshop. To fix souls or only artifacts? He asked the sage. Does your soul need fixing? Asked the sage. I've been killing a lot of ravens lately, he told the sage. You're a fox, said Calaveras. To kill birds is part of your nature. Take joy in it. I mean, I might as well worry about eating flies. Would you like a fly? It was true. That's what he had forgotten. The joy. Now he was ready for the final battle. The Farfarer cut through the clouds. The air had never felt so sweet since he was a child. There it was. The dreaded Imperial fleet. He could smell wet hemp ropes ahead. Wood and tar and ravens.
Legno, catrame e
Even the fleet
corvi.
smelled good somehow. He was ready. He was ready.
Ok. Quindi siamo pronti.
Reynardo had it all squared away in his head. He would kill the Emperor. Isengrim III had begun well, but he had gone mad.
Allora, possiamo potenziarla. Io direi di potenziare tutto. Ci manca ancora una spada. 70.
No anger. Reynardo could not afford anger. It was empowering the crystal in his sword. That made him stronger, but it clouded his mind. He would not be a hero. A hero strives. Reynardo would just be one with everything. The Emperor would die,
Ovviamente con più spade si
and the
potranno
wheel would
aprire
turn,
più
and all would be
percorsi.
restored without rancor, without sorrow, without
E quello fino
pain.
all'ultimo. Questo portale fino all'ultimo ce lo fanno sudare.
Sometimes, all you know is what you know. You know?
Qui c'è un forziere che comunque sia apriamo, che c'è dentro materiale e i cubi che ci servono per potenziare le armi. Ok. Siamo già arrivati agli scenari con le navi.
They really needed to redecorate anyway.
Ok. Avanziamo.
It was a bit
Stavolta
windy up
direi
here.
di skippare e andare da questa parte. Ok. Level up. Vediamo se c'è del materiale da toppare. No. Intanto facciamo precipitare una bandiera. Ok.
Hey,
Quanta gente.
get a drink around here? You? Okay.
È un po' troppo casino, eh. Perfetto, quasi perfetto. Ok. Qui non ci sono casse.
But the more he thought about it, and he had so much more time to think about it now that he was not worrying about the battle, killing the Emperor would not change anything. Another would take his place. Perhaps Zenobia. Perhaps
Ok,
speak with the
senza
rebel
dell'aria.
council, and power would corrupt them too, and death would make grief, and grief would lead to hatred.
Vediamo se
He
ci
must
sono altre
lead by
casse. No.
example. Reject the violence. Reject the desire to create violence.
Ok,
But how?
non proprio al primo colpo.
He was sort of yanking his own chain, wasn't he?
Ok, energie ottenute. Direi di provare anche questa di ghiaccio. Dovrebbe essere la spada. E via verso le piattaforme. Altri nemici. Allora. Ah. Ok. Ovviamente ci devono dare altri corvi per distruggere quelli con lo scudo. Ok.
Soon he'd confront the Emperor. Funny that this whole war had come about because the Emperor feared death. And now it was coming for him. There was some sort of lesson there, wasn't there?
Ok. Questo qua. Gli incantatori possono migliorare e curare i nemici. I corvi migliorati sono molto pericolosi. Allora è meglio distruggerli subito. Ok. Ho poca mira. Ne manca ancora. 1, 2. Dov'è? Chi manca? Venite a me, venite. Aia. No. Si è buggato al di fuori della... E niente. Sì, fantastico. Per un attimo ho temuto.
Finally, he came to the Emperor's ship. The path behind him was strewn with dead ravens. The path to enlightenment. His mistake, he realized, was trying to change the world. The world would spin and the wheel would revolve whether he strove against it or not. What he had to do was nothing. He had attained enlightenment. He sat down, adopted a full lotus position, and began to meditate. And all around him, the warriors stopped fighting too. They knew. They could feel his enlightenment. They gave up fighting, dropped their weapons, and became his disciples. No, just kidding. The nearest raven stabbed him with a sword and then chopped off his head. I might not have thought this through properly. Thought Reynardo's head as it rolled around the deck and died. Reynardo stared at the book. He was still alive. Again. And still only flying away from burning Ubar. Had he lived that adventure?
Ebbene sì, anche questa volta non abbiamo raggiunto, diciamo, il finale vero e proprio.
So real, not like a dream at all. And he'd lost
Ma siamo
again.
aumentati di livello.
Oh, he hated that. But he had made different choices. And he'd lost in a different way. It was the book, wasn't it? Oracles showed you your destiny. But this was showing him different ways he could die miserably. Thanks a bunch, book, he thought. But these were destinies that he did not have to fulfill. But he'd learned another true thing. The Iblis Stone.
La pietra di Iblis era malvagia, questa era un'altra cosa da sapere. Abilità di livello 3 sbloccate. E ok.
But that meant there must be a destiny where he survived and won, right? Otherwise, what was the point? And with that, the book's pages fluttered back once more to the beginning, and the clouds parted over the Isles of Boreas. It was time to choose. The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game changer. Pieces of the Sky Ripper had surfaced. Or so a scholar in the mountains had told him.
E qui si riparte, andare allo squartacieli o
defeat the Emperor. Also, a temple had risen out of empty desert.
andare nel
The
deserto.
Iblis Stone was hidden there. It was a dangerous artifact. It could corrupt its user into a bloodthirsty monster. Maybe he could find a way to use it. To take its power without surrendering to its wickedness. And also, his old
O quello
friend
di
Lapino
Lapino.
needed rescuing.
Però
Of course,
abbiamo già delle
Reynardo had a
conoscenze in
pretty
più.
strong suspicion that Lapino had betrayed the rebellion. But could Reynardo really leave an old friend to the Ravens?
E poi come si potrà continuare? Però continueremo la prossima volta. Abbiamo fatto quasi 2 orette di gameplay. Io mi sono divertita molto a rigiocare questo titolo, che mi era piaciuto fin da subito quando lo provai la prima volta. Abbiamo scoperto 2 sentieri del destino, 2 possibili finali del gioco. E con questo vi saluto. Buona serata a tutti e ci vediamo alla prossima live. Grazie mille per avermi seguito e buonanotte a tutti. Ciao.